Hello and welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to an interesting video about some Mont Blancs in my collection. We are talking about some vintage Mont Blancs from the 1930s, but I will focus this video on the two beautiful Mont Blancs from the beginning of the 1950s, the model 144 and 146 Meisterstück, and also the modern equivalents of them, the model 144 from 1983 and those two 146 also from 1983, but also this beautiful Doue model with a wonderful sterling cap, also the model Legrand 146. So my dear friends, both of those fountain pens have their reviews on my channel. And first of all, I will start with this wonderful Montblanc Meisterstück 146 from 1952. Believe it or not, guys, this was my first fountain pen, the start of my collection. And boy, oh boy, did I start my collection with a beautiful and amazing piece. This should be on your grail list, my friends, especially this old celluloid with the telescopic filling mechanism. This is a beautiful Meisterstück from the beginning of the 1950s, and I know that fact for sure because you can see this Cassane model, this Cassane logo, which is very different from the color of the modern logo. This material develops this ivory patina in time, and this is a very good sign that you have a Mont Blanc from the beginning of the 1950s. Another interesting sign is this wonderful feeder that you see over here, the so-called ski slope type feeder. It was an evolution from the previous feeder, and I have here some models. Let me see if this has the old type feeder. Yes. So this model from 1930s, and I will tell you the model right in a minute. This is a 126, my friends. And this had the previous feeder. So you can see that the previous feeder, let me see if I can direct my lighting on this for you to see better. Okay, let me see. Sorry about this, my friends. Let me direct the lighting over to those beautiful feeders. And now you can see the difference between them. On the one from the 1930s is quite plain, and the other one has those two channels right in the middle of it. Well, this type of ebonite feeder was specific to the beginning of the 1950s, my friends, and it is a sign that this model is an early model from the 1950s. By the way, my friends, I will leave a link to the review of this wonderful pen over here. And now let's move on to the other model. But first of all, my friends, let me tell you, it was the first pen in my collection, and I paid an amazing price for it. It needs restoration in the sense that the piston is not in a working condition. But let me tell you what I paid for it, my friends. I paid 500 leis, an amazing price, the equivalent today of 100.47 euros or 109.50 US dollars. And after this, I got this. I bought it from Romania. The seller, I think, bought it from Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. But I paid twice the price that I paid for this 146 but again, a very nice price for it. I paid only 1020 lei for the Meisterstuck 144, the equivalent of 204.95 euros or 223.36 US dollars. And as you can see, it has the same star right over here at the top with that ivory patina, and the same type of feeder, my dear friends. Just look at this feeder. Okay, let me zoom a little bit on it for you to see better. You can see that we have the same type of feeder which was specific to the beginning of the 1950s. And of course, I will leave also a link to the review of the 144 on here at the top of the screen. And now let me focus on the reason I've made this video. So this video was made for you to see the dimensions of these early 1950s models. And if we look side by side at them, they seem to be the same length, but definitely the 146 is a little bit fatter than the 144. And of course, the difference resides also at the size of the nibs. A number 4 nib versus a number 6 nib. And just look, my friends, at those gorgeous two-toned colored nibs with those wonderful ski slope type feeders. These are the pens that I want to concentrate, but you can see the differences between them, and you can see also the evolution of the model. This is a cigar-shaped type model specific to the 1950s. In fact, this model of the Meisterstuck didn't change till present days, so it has the same designs from back at the early 1950s till our present days. But they evolved from this quite flat design, which reminds me of the Parker Duofold, those styles which was specific to the 1930s. And here is the end result. Of course, the design remained the same, but you can see that we have some differences between the bodies of the current 144. So this is the Montblanc Meisterstück 144 from the beginning of the 1980s, and you can see the difference between them. Of course, they are approximately the same length. This is a little bit taller, the new model. And the main difference is here we had a piston filler and here we have a cartridge filler. This is the new interpretation of the 144. And when we are speaking of the Legrand model 146, we can see some differences between the model from the beginning of the 1950s and the new models. This particular one is a French Montblanc from 1983, fitted with a 14 karat gold nib. And let me show you the wonderful nib in comparison with the other nib. The size of the nib is number 6, so they are of the same size, my friends. But definitely one is a 14 karat 585 nib, the one from the 1950s, and this is an 18 karat gold nib. Let me see if I can focus my lighting on them. Yes, you can see 18 karat and 14 karat. And of course the differences are also in the feeder, a plastic feeder versus that wonderful ski slope type feeder, that ebonite feeder specific to the 1950s. So some differences between them. and I can't show you on this one, but also the ink window is different. I can certainly show you on the 144. You can see this striped ink window, which resembles to the model Souverain Pelican. Okay, my dear friends, so for all of those, I will leave their dimensions on the screen. The old version and the new version, and also I have here a little 146 Legrand but Doue with a silver cap, which we can see is quite large in comparison to the modern 146 from 1983, but in comparison with the 146 from the 1950s is simply massive. You can see it's not a 149 but also a Legrand 146. So my friends, like I promised you, I will leave the dimensions of both of the old ones and the new variants of them on the screen as a guideline for you to distinguish your models, to see if they are new models or old models, but also to see the little changes they made in the course of times. Of course, the design remains the same, but there are little changes, my friends. So what can I tell you? Both those models from the 1950s are the pride of my collection. Of course, also the old ones from the 1930s, which are quite rare. But I also enjoy the new ones, and in fact, I write with them daily. And we will see some writing samples, my friends, and although you saw them, most or all of them, they have the review on my channel. I think that it will be a nice and interesting part of the video to show you how they write. The only one I can't show you, I think, is this one, which has its nib currently serviced. So this is a very first model of the 144, the new variant. You can see with this simple feeder, but it has its nib at the nib master. It had some problems, and I can't show you how it writes, but the other ones I'm pretty sure that I can show you how they write. And because not all of them are functional, I will use the same ink for all of them, and I will just dip them in that ink. And in fact, I will use this Montblanc ink, and we will see some nice writing samples with all of them. So I have here my notepad, my dear friends. Let me place it right over here, and I will also change the angle of the camera before I will do the writing sample. So let's see right now. Okay, like this. I think it's okay, like this. Now let's get ready for all of them. And first, my friends, let me start with the one from the 1930s. I have here a 334.5 model, and this particular one is fitted with an oblique broad nib, and this is the nib, my friends. Let me focus on it. A wonderful number 4 nib, you can see, a 14 karat number 4 nib. And like I've promised you, let me give a little shake to this ink bottle. I will open it. I will just dip the pen in ink for a short period. Okay, and now I'm ready to write with it. So what do I have here, my dear friends? A little zoom. Okay, like this. So here I have a Montblanc 334.5 fitted with a 14 karat 585 gold nib. It is a oblique broad nib, and let me see. Here we will see that it has a little bit of a flex. You can distinguish it right over here. So we have a little flex to this nib. Being an oblique nib, you can see it does those lines like this, and these are very, very pronounced, broad nib, and it is a very juicy nib. Here I will test if we have some line variance. So no pressure, and I am starting to apply pressure, and you can see no line variance. Okay, and let me pass to the other ones, and especially I will show you the nib of the 1950s. So this is a 146 and we have an F nib. So without further delay, let me put it like this. Okay, my dear friends, and let me show you how it writes. So I have now a MONTBLANC Meisterstück 146 from approximately 1952, so from the early 1950s. Again, a 14 karat 585 F nib, but a two-tone color nib. You can see a wonderful nib. And let me see if we have some flex to this nib. So definitely a little flex to this nib. Not so pronounced as the one from the 1930s, but it is here a little flex present. Again, this is an F nib, so probably we can see the same lines here and here. Yes, a very juicy nib, and I don't think I have some line variance, but I will test it. So no line variance through this model, no line variance. Okay, this one's the Meisterstuck 146, and now let me show you the 144, and after that we will see the one modern 146 and the Doue. So this particular one has an F nib, also an F nib, 144, and here is the size of the nib. We have an F nib. I will dip it also in ink, and I will write here. So here I have a MONTBLANC. Sorry, my friends, let me dip it again in ink, because okay, so here I have a MONTBLANC Meisterstuck, and I have a 144, also probably also from 1952, early 1950s. This is fitted with a 14 karat 585. This is a number 4 nib as a size, and on the other one it was a number 6 nib. So number 4 nib also took colored, two-tone colored nib. Okay, now let me see if I can show you some flex to this nib, and it's very similar to the other nib. It has that little flex, very interesting, and I think that also this is a very juicy nib, and I believe it doesn't have a line variance. So here I'm starting to apply pressure. So basically no major difference between them. Or let me test it again. Here no pressure, and here I'm starting to apply pressure. There is, here I can see a small line variance when I apply pressure to the nib. Okay, my dear friends, let me pass now through to the newer models, and I have one fitted. No, not this one, because it's fitted with red color. I need this one, and this one, my friends, is the modern equivalent. I have a MONTBLANC Meisterstück 146. This one is from 1983, my dear friends, fitted with a 18 karat 750 gold nib. This is a number 6 nib, and is fitted with an 18 karat gold nib because it was sold on the French market. Okay, and this particular one I don't expect, and in fact you can see no flex to it, no flex to this nib. It seems to be a juicy nib, and I believe that this is an M nib, and for medium. And now let me test if we have some line variance. So here no pressure, and here I'm starting to apply pressure, and practically no line variance present on this nib. So this was the writing sample with this one, but I will also do writing sample with this one. It's faded away, but here we have Germany and M, my friends. This is an M nib, and this is a 925 sterling silver cap. This is the beautiful nib, also a number 6 nib, two-tone colored nib, 18 karat nib, and I'm just going to dip it in this ink, my dear friends, and I will show you how it writes. Remember, the sticker here tells me that we have a M medium nib. Okay, let me see. So what do we have here, my friends? This is a MONTBLANC Meisterstück 146 Doue, fitted with a sterling silver cap, 18 karat 750 number 6 nib, this time a two-tone colored nib, and the size M. Let me show you. So like this, you can see no flex to this particular nib. Here I will show you we have a juicy nib, and let me see if we have some line variance. So again, no visible line variance. This is a very interesting comparison between all of them. And let me tell you, my friends, I like the flexiness of the models from the 1930s, but if I have to choose my favorites, they are definitely those from the 1950s with that discrete flex to them. But also I like the modern ones because they are very practical and really workhorses. And I believe if you take care of them, although they are luxury pieces, you can ride with them every day. And as a confession, I ride every day with those modern 146s from 1983. One I always use with this red color ink, and one with this blue color, and they are practically the same size of the nib, the same 18 karat nibs, and I simply love them. Sometimes I get mixed their caps because they are identical, and I don't know which cap belongs to which pen, but those are my workhorses, the Montblanc workhorses. And guys, this was just a comparison with some interesting models in my collection. Unfortunately, I don't use very often those from the 1950s. I think that they are fragile with that celluloid, but definitely that ski slope type feeder and that nib, oh my god. And of course they have those telescopic feeding mechanism and also those simple pistons of the modern ones. Very, very interesting. If you have the chance, go for one from the 1930s if it is in a good condition, but also don't neglect the beginning of the 1950s, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It contains some of my most valuable Montblancs from my collection. And believe it or not, guys, I still don't have the Montblanc Diplomat 149. So I have more than 1000 fountain pens in my collection, and believe it or not, I don't have the iconic MONTBLANC Meisterstück 149 Diplomat, and I don't have the Pelikan M1000. I don't have many Japanese fountain pens, but probably I will get a Sailor King or something like that, a big pen. We'll see in the future, but I definitely need to find a deal to buy a Montblanc 149 to show you some differences between the models. In my opinion, the 146 has the perfect dimension, not too big, not too small, and always, my friends, if you have the opportunity, buy a Montblanc 146, and from Pelikan, buy a Pelikan M800, and I think you will get a good deal on them. So my friends, this was, let's say, some comparison and some talks about the different Montblanc models. I'm not so sure how the title of this video should be, but mainly it is a comparison between the 144 and the 146 from the beginning of the 1960s, and also their modern equivalents. So thank you for your time, my dear friends. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I will see you again in the next episode. Till then, bye bye, my dear friends, and God bless you all.